Hello, I'm Jackie Lucky, your financial planning maestro. This series of podcasts is aimed at financial planning professionals and also those who are looking to enter the financial planning profession. We will be talking during the podcast about all things certified financial planner certification related, talking to other CFPs around the world, and also we will be dropping in on some new entrants who've just entered the financial planning profession, and we'll be checking up along the way on a regular basis with them to see how they're getting on. I hope you enjoy today's podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Jackie Lucky, your financial planning maestro. And today we are back talking about the CISI Level 7 case study in order you to gain or become a certified financial planner professional in the UK. And I'm joined by a very special guest today to talk about all of the aspects and her individual journey along the way to become a CFP professional. I'd like you to welcome Angela McAfee. Hello, Angela.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. It's been a few months now since you became a CFP professional, isn't it?
Yeah, gosh, what is that, about 6 months or so? It's been quite a while, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And today we're going to talk about your individual journey, how you got there, all your ups and downs and all the rest of it along the way. But before we get to that, I want to ask you about how you found out and got into the financial planning profession. So tell me a little potted history of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely by chance. Like so many other people, I tend to talk to in the industry as well, or in the profession. I fell into it, I guess. I had been studying architecture at university, and for a while I'd been thinking that the course wasn't necessarily right for me, and I had literally just taken the decision to step away from the architecture course, and having a word with my neighbour at the time, and she actually said that, that in the office that she worked in, they were looking for somebody to come in to help with admin. So I went straight down for an interview, joined them, and yeah, I suppose that's how I started, and the rest is history, as they say.
Indeed. And so you went from admin and then went on to do paraplanning, is that right?
I did, yeah. I joined that firm. It was a small local firm in Northern Ireland. I initially started doing admin in mortgages and protection. And I suppose quite quickly I found that the wealth area, investments and pensions, were very well suited to me with the number side of things. So I progressed quite quickly into the admin of wealth, and then through to paraplanning in the wealth side of things.
Yep. So numbers are your thing, would you say?
Oh, yes. I'm a massive numbers geek. I love all the numbers, yeah.
Excellent. Well, there are plenty of numbers in the financial planning world, that's for sure. Keep you out of mischief. So at what point did you find out about the CFP, and why did you decide to start on your journey when you did?
I left the office in 2017 when we moved house, and I'd been speaking to a mentor of mine at the time, just about, because I wanted to look into doing my level 4 diploma, and I knew there was other routes, and I just wanted some input and opinions on the different routes and what they thought would be the best. And it was at that time that he introduced me to the CISI. So I actually done the level 4 diploma with CISI in 2017, 2018. And then I took a pause from the qualifications, and there was something that just kept drawing me back to looking at the website and seeing, level 6 and then level 7. And yeah, I sort of bit the bullet then to do the qualification. So I knew about CISI because I had experience with them. The reason why I pulled the trigger on doing it is because I was working in paraplanning at the time, and my thoughts and my feelings on it and where I wanted to be with things was that I wanted to be as qualified, as knowledgeable, and hopefully as experienced as the advisors that I was working with.
Yep. Yep. And, and actually doing the case study is, testament to, all your hard work that came to fruition to be able to do that. But let's just talk about the level 6 first. So you sat the level 6 exam first. Where did you find that relatively straightforward as far as, was it a big step between the CISI level 4, investment advice diploma and then the level 6 exam? Was there a big step between those two?
I think there was, yeah. I think having done the level 4, the jump to level 6, I felt that there was a big jump in it. Not an unmanageable jump, but it definitely requires, I feel anyway, it requires a lot more applicable knowledge.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's quite common that people tell me that they feel that it's quite a big jump, just about manageable, but still, it's not a kind of linear, smooth step as going through each of the level 4 exams. There is that noticeable hike in actually what's required in knowledge from a knowledge point of view, but also it starts to apply your technical knowledge, doesn't it? Which I think is quite different than the level 4 exams.
Yeah, it requires you to really understand the depths of it, the ins and outs of things. Yeah.
Excellent. And so did you move on once you passed your level 6 exam? Did you go straight on to the level 7? Did you jump in with both feet or did you have a little pause there?
No, I went all in. It was, I'm straight from level 6 to level 7. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So let's talk about your experience with the case study then. Tell me a little bit about what your initial approach to it was.
Oh gosh, my initial approach. So like I said, I jumped in both feet, ready to do it. I actually got the exam, the enrollment just before Christmas. And I knew that getting up just before Christmas, that having a look at it before Christmas was just going to be a lot. So I actually received the case study and put it on hold and thought, okay, well, after I'll get Christmas over me and New Year, and then I'll get stuck into it. And I opened it up, had a good look, tried to plot down a few things, take a few notes, get to know, your case study clients, get to know them quite well. And I'm like, oh, I could do with a little bit of help here. So I had a look on the CISI website, their accredited partners. And I had a look through your website and used quite a few of the resources that you have available. And I thought, do you know what? I really could do with a little bit more. So I decided then to join your membership and have a look in depth at it.
Yep, yep. And, we had lots of fun during the course. Well, I had lots of fun during the course. So tell us a little bit about, how did you, you said that you really got under the skin of your clients to get to know them really well. How did you manage your time and plan out that time to build your case study?
Doing the case study, it's a lot and it requires a lot of time investment as well. And obviously, especially if you're working as well, I was working at 9 to 5, and I found that I would work 9 to 5, have dinner, and then very quickly tell the rest of the family, okay, I'm going to work on my case study, and close myself off in my office. And that was me really for the rest of the evening.
Wow.
For many, many days, for about 3 months. So I suppose that was what I just had to do. I had to allocate that time. As far as I was concerned, my workplace had me during the daytime 9 to 5, and in the evenings, my fictional clients had me for as long as they required.
Yes, absolutely. It's kind of needs must, isn't it? If you can't get any study time while you're working, whether people have been fortunate to be able to get half a day, or maybe like 4 hours that they could spread across or something like that, to do that. But there are many, many people out there who employers will pay, someone will pay for the courses and pay for the assessments and exams, but actually you don't get any study leave in amongst all of that as well. So, adding in, because you've got that 10-week window, haven't you, to submit your financial plan. And it's quite an undertaking, as you say, holding down a 9-to-5 job, doing all the paraplanning for, real clients during the day, and then essentially the same thing again all evening, most evenings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually, I find it quite beneficial. Whenever I was doing my level 4 exams, I had left the office and I was doing some ad hoc outsourced power planning at that time. Um, but I actually feel it really important to maintain that level of work during real life clients, because it kept my head in the game. It keeps things, it keeps you grounded, and gives you real life experiences to compare it with and real life thoughts
Yeah.
to apply to your fictional clients.
Absolutely. And so, as far as building your financial plan goes, did you have any particular areas that you kind of thought, oh, yikes, I've got to get over this, this hurdle that I'm not particularly comfortable with, or, maybe had to do a bit more research on? Were there any particular areas that you thought, oh, it's a bit of a stumbling block? Maybe it's going to take me a little bit more time than I initially anticipated?
Yeah, absolutely. The estate planning was my block, the brick wall that I hit. Um, I knew that going in as well, and I think it comes down to that experience and exposure, that I haven't. Whilst I've had some experience in estate planning, it hasn't been as extensive as protection and standard wealth accumulation. Um, so I knew that that was going to be my brick wall whenever I came to it. And actually, on the first admission of my case study, I got the rest of the case study done. And I knew that that area it hadn't had as much attention to it as was required. Um, so I knew the first submission wasn't going to get it over the mark, with the understanding that I'll tackle it whenever I have more, time to commit to it alone.
Yes. And, but you still did brilliantly well on the first submission, didn't you?
I did. I was so shocked. I was actually, yeah, I was somewhat disappointed that I did so well, but obviously not well enough. But I also knew that I wouldn't have done well enough to get it over the mark. So
Yes.
it was really nice to see, but also a little frustrating at the same time.
Yes, because you were, within a gnat's whisker away of passing completely, even with the estate planning section, as you said, hadn't had quite as much attention as the other areas.
Yeah, and it was really nice to see the feedback and get that feedback that the areas that I have done were done so well, and I really was able to demonstrate my understanding of it and those areas that had been done.
Yes. And I think also with the way that I suggest everybody tackles their case study, the estate planning was last for in your case as well, wasn't it? So not only are you probably kind of running out of steam and running out of time, running out of steam, getting a bit fed up with the clients along the way, and obviously having, knowing that was one of your weaker areas, perhaps of all of them, you kind of got a double whammy on that bit, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But on your second submission, you passed with flying colours, didn't you?
I did, yeah, and it was such a relief. It was just such a nice feeling to get that message through and have it all done and dusted.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think now, looking back over the last 6 months, what has it done for you? Has it given you more confidence? Lots of people tell me it's given them more confidence, to be more assertive. It's helped with, preparation of financial plans. Tell us a little bit about how it's helped you.
Yeah, it absolutely has. I originally set out to do the level 7, like I say, for the the understanding, the knowledge and experience as a paraplanner to be at the same level as the advisors that I would be working with.
Yeah.
And actually, it has given me the confidence in that I am now seeking to take a step further and do some advising myself.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. And looking back at the whole process, do you have a feeling of how many hours it took you to put the whole financial plan together? So including both your first and second submissions?
It feels like it was about 2 years of my life. But on a rough estimate, I would say that it would be somewhere between 200 to 300 hours.
Yeah. And that's perfectly normal. It ranges, and I think, particularly if you know that you have an area of technical knowledge that is a little bit lighter than the others because of, experience in the profession, and obviously not coming across that many cases, as you said, particularly protection and mortgage issues initially when you came into the profession, then it's, that's quite common that you need more thinking time, don't you? You need to go away, do a bit of research, ponder on it a bit longer than perhaps if you'd been dealing with clients and you'd needed to sort out situations like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why, the doing it around working as a power planner was so beneficial, because those daily real life scenarios, and doing things day in, day out, really benefited in the areas that I done well. But yeah, the areas that are a little bit cloudy, you do need to spend a lot more time digging deeper into it to reconfirm your understanding and things that that I probably mortgage and protections, things that I had done previously, but not so often more recently, and the estate planning where it had been dabbled in, but not on a regular basis.
Yes. Yes. And I find it's quite often, like you mentioned earlier, if you can keep the work with your real clients at the front of your mind, it's much easier to apply your technical knowledge when you're learning new things, isn't it? Because you can kind of go, oh, actually, well, I did, for Mr. and Mrs. Blogs, I did a similar, did a similar situation, had to do some extra research, something along those sorts of lines. It does make a difference helping you bring it to life in those situations, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think as well, that's the kind of learner that I am. And, it's applied learning. Some people learn better reading from a book, and many more people learn better whenever they're actually doing it. And that's definitely where I fit. It's like that proverb, you can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, or if you teach him how to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime.
Yes.
So I think that's definitely where I'm at and where I come from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% the same kind of learner as you, actually, as well. So I completely identify where you're coming from. Well, Angela, we've nearly run out of time already today in our interview, but I just wanted to ask you if you had any tips or anything that you wanted to share with people who will be listening today who thinking, maybe I'm going to start my own journey to become a CFP professional. So could you share some tips or thoughts with us, please?
Yeah, I think the first one would be don't fear Excel. I am a big Excel geek anyway, so I do love it, but I know that a lot of people aren't. And I think just get in and try it, give it a go.
Yeah.
Another one would be to not fear submission, put as much into it as possible. Don't fear submitting it with gaps in the submission, that if it comes back and you've missed out, you do have those other resubmissions available. So don't fear that. And the other thing would be to reach out to somebody like yourself where you have that course available. The course was massively, massively beneficial to me. And even the conversations that you and I had were, yeah, just something else. It added complete clarity to me on what I needed to do.
Excellent, excellent. I'm very pleased to hear that. Angela, thank you so much for joining me today, and congratulations on becoming a CFP professional from me and all of our listeners.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful being here.
It's really interesting, isn't it, to listen to different people who have different experiences of gaining their certified financial planner certification, or maybe developing the financial planning profession at large. If you know anybody who you think might be interested in listening to any of these podcasts, then please do pass on our details. That's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. See you again soon. Bye for now.